Good morning, Year 4, and welcome to your next English lesson where you're going to be continuing the writing of your leadership story. So let's start by sharing with you the screen. Okay, today it is Thursday the 21st of January and our learning objective is to write the problem paragraph of a story. So could you pause the video now while you write today's date and learning objective and underline these? Brilliant. So your first task for today is to review your writing that you have written so far of your story. So you've written 2 paragraphs already, and yesterday you wrote the second paragraph. So I want you to read yesterday's work and remind yourself of what you wrote, and take your purple polishing pen if you have one, or another colour if you can, and polish your writing. So remember to check for things like spelling mistakes or punctuation, thinking about capital letters, full stops, and particularly those commas. Have you used a comma after your fronted adverbial? Or if you start your sentence with a subordinating conjunction, a complex sentence, your comma will need to come after the subordinate clause. So have a look for those now and pause the video while you review your work. Okay, brilliant. So this week we've been writing an innovative story. So you've been writing your own leadership story. Now you may have based your story on the animation of the cunning crabs, or you might have innovated your story to come up with your own characters, your own ideas about some characters where a threat appears and the leader takes action. So this is the paragraph we're going to be writing today. And the paragraph is where the leader takes action. And we're thinking about how the leader forms a plan and takes that action. So this is what we're going to be writing. And I'm just going to remind you of the animation if you're basing your story on the cunning crabs, or if you're not, you can just think about what happens in this part of your story. I'm just going to stop sharing that screen and share with you the animation. Got the predator circling, and here's the leader. The threat, about to take action. Okay, so let's go back onto our screen. Okay, so we're thinking about, think about then, do you think this is a positive intent part of the story, or is it negative intent? I know you plotted your graph earlier in the week, so you might want to remind yourself of what you think. Is it positive or a negative part where the leader is taking action? So today in your writing, so we're thinking about using these different features. So we're writing, our purpose is to entertain, and you should be really familiar now with the features that we're looking for. So we've done a lot of work on complex sentences and challenging yourself to start with a subordinate clause. We're looking for prepositional phrases, okay. Some lovely noun phrases to add some great description to your writing. And in your noun phrases, you might want to think about including alliteration. You might include some similes or repetition. And then we're also looking for those fronted adverbials and precise verbs, so the action to describe the action in the story. And then really important, making sure you've got all those basics like the capital letters, correct punctuation, and spelling mistakes corrected. So before we start, I want you to look back at your plan. So you've planned your plot point 3, and I want you to think about reminding yourself about the words you intend to use, and you can add to your plan as you go through these slides. They might help you to add words, and remind yourself about what grammar features you're going to be using. So let's look at our models again to help us with today's writing. So these are the models that we've looked at so far. So we looked at the animation of the penguins and the animation of the ants. So these are the models. I'm going to read them to you just to remind ourselves of what this paragraph is all going to be about. So the finned giant emerged further from the ocean's depths and opened his deadly mouth with its razor-sharp teeth. Swimming quicker towards the penguin colony, the killer whale readied himself to fill his belly. Suddenly, one clever penguin had a cunning idea. Okay, and then the ant story. Sucking with all his might, the anteater imagined munching on all the delicious ants. Staring back with alarm, the rest of the ants watched on, helpless. Without hesitating, the leader whistled to her troop while signalling wildly with her hands. The ants somersaulted, dived, and hopped into an organised formation. When all were in position, the queen ant joined them to make an enormous moving sphere. Okay, so if there are any good words that you want to magpie out of these models, then quickly pause the video and add them to your plan now. Okay, so let's collect some ideas for your paragraph today. So I've based these on the cunning crab, but obviously think about what your key characters are in your story and where is your story set if you've changed it. So the first thing I want you to think about are using prepositional phrases to describe the sudden threat of the seagull making its move towards the crab. So here you think about the action of this seagull, how he suddenly dives down towards those crabs. So the prepositional phrases I've thought of were towards the helpless crabs, or he dives through the cool breeze. So think about what prepositional phrases you might use in your writing. And then what subordinate conjunction could you use to start your sentence with? So I've got a few ideas here, but there are other ones that you could use today. So I've put as, while, or when. So you might want to add some of these ideas to your plan now while you're thinking of them. Okay, and next I want you to think about what fronted adverbials you could use to start your sentence that would describe the leader's quick thinking to take action. So some ideas here are all of a sudden or without hesitation. So can you think of some fronted adverbials that you might use that describe the leader taking action, the leader in the story? Who is the leader in your story, and how does he suddenly take action? What orders are given? So just pause the video and think about what orders your character is about to give, because you're going to be writing about these soon. So what orders does your character give to the rest of the characters in the story? So pause the video while you think about those. Okay, brilliant. So remember, these are just collecting ideas, so you'll write these ideas at the end. So just to think about now, how do the other characters in your story respond to their leader? So in the cunning crabs, we've suddenly got the crabs following their leader's orders, and they come together to form a square formation here. So you can see that they're ready now for the imminent attack of the seagull as he dives down towards them. So what noun phrases could you use in this section of your story to describe your characters? So some of my ideas were, I thought about using some alliteration there where I described them as the cunning crabs or the clever crabs, perhaps, quick thinking crabs. So what noun phrases will you use in your story now to describe the characters and how they form come together to take action on the predator? So you might want to add some of these ideas down onto your plan now. Okay, so now you're going to think about those three sort of chunks that I've just gone through to write your paragraph. So remember those really important things that you're looking at. So on your plan, you will know for this plot point, whether you're using complex sentence, fronted adverbials. You might have some examples of those already written down. Remember to describe what you notice, what you can see, and really think about using precise verbs to describe the action. So you're going to pause the video. You're going to write your paragraph, so it's one paragraph. Really think about using your plan to help you. Keep reading your work back to check it makes sense. Remember, you can always purple polish and edit as you go along if you need to. and then we will review this at the end. So pause the video now while you have a go at your paragraph, and if you feel like you need to go back through the slides to think about those three sort of chunks that I've just talked about in your writing, then go back through, because it may help you just to really make sure you've got all these features in your work today. Okay, brilliant. So it looks like you've probably written your paragraph now. So just now take the time to review your work, think about what we were looking at in this part of your writing. So really think about identifying, have you got that complex sentence written in there? Can you have you started it with a subordinate conjunction? If you have, then remember to use that comma after the subordinate clause. Have you got those fronted adverbials in your writing in this paragraph? Could you edit your work maybe to change one of your noun phrases and add in some alliteration? So have a go at just reviewing your work, and really, really importantly, make sure you've got all that basic punctuation, capital letters in your writing today, to make sure it's really up to Year 4 standard. And then I really look forward to reading your next paragraphs on Dojo when you upload them. So well done for your writing today, and I can't wait to read them all, Year 4. Well done.